Hello everyone. In last lectures, we are already discussed the introduction of anatomy and physiology of udder, then developmental phases of udder, definition of udder. Then we are already studied two important structure of udder, that is external structure of udder and supportive structure of udder. So, as we know that we are already studied it, that is externally udder is divided into two equal halves by means of intramammary groove, and internally udder is divided into two equal halves, that is right half and left half, by the means of median suspensory ligament. So in figures also we are also shown in the figure how the dividation occurs. So today we will discuss very important structure of udder, that is called as a internal structure of udder. So as we know that internally udder is equally divided into two halves by means of median suspensory ligament, and due to the presence of median suspensory ligament, udder is equally divided into two halves. But again, due to the presence of thin septum of connective tissue, generally each half, that is right half and left half, is further divided into compartments, that is called as a quarter. So uh, it means the udder of cow and buffalo is composed from four different quarters, and each quarter is completely isolated. There is no communication between these four quarters of udder. Even a single small vein or arteries never pass from one quarter into another quarter. And such type of dividation is because of the presence of thin septum of connective tissue. Uh, it means every individual quarter is completely isolated. There is no communication among the remaining quarters. Such type of dividation is very helpful to prevent the disease, the spread of disease from one quarter into another quarter. Then, when we dissect each quarter of mammary gland, then we can observe such type of structure inside of the each quarter. Means the udder of cow and buffalo is made up of from four different quarter. So each quarter of udder contains such type of structure inside of the each quarter. So it means each quarter of udder is composed from such type of structure. Such type of structure. These are the. This is called as alveolus. Alveolus. This is the single, and in plural it is called as alveoli. These alveolus, generally many number of alveolus is called as a alveoli. It is called as a alveoli, or it is also called as a acini, or it is also called as a cul-de-sac. These are the different name of this structure. So such type of alveoli are present inside of the quarter, and the number of alveoli present inside of the quarter, that is millions of alveoli present inside of the each quarter. Then these alveoli is very important in case of udder, because every alveoli is called as a basic unit of milk synthesis. Actually, whatever the quantity of milk synthesized inside of the udder, the synthesis of milk takes place inside of the alveoli cell. So, and the diameter of each alveoli is around 0.1 to 0.4 millimeter only. inside of this alveoli cell, if we enlarge this single alveoli, then it look like this. This is the single alveoli. Okay, when we enlarge it, then we can observe such type of structure. So internally this alveoli is lined by means of a special cell. This is called as a secretory cell. So these are the secretory cells. So this is called as secretory tissue, or it is also called as epithelial. Actually these secretory tissue actually synthesize the milk, and outside of the secretory tissue there is a presence of many number of blood capillaries. So that blood capillaries supplies the blood inside of each alveoli, and then the alveoli means these secretory tissue utilize the blood constituent and convert it into the milk constituent. So this is called as secretory tissue, and this empty cavity is, it is called as a lumen. This is called as lumen. Lumen is nothing but a empty cavity located inside of each alveoli. So when these secretory tissue synthesize the milk, then the milk is stored inside of the lumen. So this is all about the alveoli. And externally these alveoli is again surrounded by means of a myoepithelial cells, a fiber like. So these myoepithelial cell applying pressure over each alveoli. So because of the pressure, alveoli gets contract, and because of the contraction, whatever the milk stored inside of the lumen, it is drained out. So again here, so such type of alveoli present inside of the lobule. So this portion, this is called as a lobule. So inside of a single lobule, millions of alveoli present with their duct system. So lobule means nothing but it is a bunch of alveoli and their duct system. So here you can see that these are the smaller ducts and this is the larger duct. So lobule is a bunch of alveoli and their duct system. So when two or more number of lobules, so this is the single lobule, this is another lobule. So when two or more lobule combines together, then it is called as a lobe. So lobule is a bunch of alveoli and their duct system, while lobe is a bunch of lobule. Then here you can see that each alveoli having a smaller duct at the end. So this alveoli having a single duct. So this duct is called as a terminal duct. So again I will enlarge it. So this is the lobule. Inside of the lobule, this is the single alveoli, and this duct, this smaller duct, this is called as a terminal duct. So whatever the when myoepithelial cell applying pressure, when alveoli get contracts, the stored milk is drained out through this terminal duct. So many number of terminal ducts, such type of, these are the terminal duct containing alveoli. So all these terminal ducts are joined together and to form a larger duct within the lobule. So this duct here, this is the central duct, this is called as intralobular. This is called as a intralobular duct. This duct, these are the terminal and this is the intralobular duct. So intralobular duct collects all the milk from all these terminal duct. And again, this intralobular duct, all the intralobular duct, this one, and this one, these are joined together here. So this duct, this larger duct is called as a interlobular. This is called as interlobular. Within the lobule, this is called as intralobular, and when all the intralobular duct joins together, then there is a formation of one larger duct. This is called as a interlobular duct. So interlobular duct collects all the milk from the intralobular ducts, and again there is a formation of one larger duct here. This is called as a intralobar duct, and when this duct joins here, then it is called as a interlobar duct. Now you can memorize the number of ducts. That is, first one terminal duct, another, this is intralobular, this is interlobular, and this is intralobar, and this is the interlobar. So such type of duct system is formed here. Many number of ducts joins together. So combiningly, this duct system, this is called as a galactophore. This is called as a galactophore. Galactophore is nothing but it is a network of larger duct. And such type of duct, how many number of duct present inside of each quarter, means the number of large duct present in a single quarter, that is 8 to 12 ducts. And as we know that the udder of cow and buffalo is composed from 4 quarters, means in a single quarter 8 to 12 ducts, 8 to 12 larger ducts are present, while in whole udder, means when there are 4 quarters, so from 4 quarter there is formation one udder. So one udder contains 48 to 52 number of large duct. So it may be asked in fill in the blanks, dash to dash number of large duct present in a single quarter, or dash to dash number of large duct present in udder. So finally this duct system, these alveoli are completely surrounded by means of connective tissue. These are called as a connective tissue. So this portion, this is also called as connective tissue. So connective tissue is completely surrounded by duct system, as well as around the lobule. This lobule, the entire lobe is completely surrounded by means of connective tissue. It means we can say that udder is a combination of connective tissue and secretory tissue. Secretory tissue, that is nothing but alveoli, and connective tissue, that is nothing but it. Connective tissue only supports the udder. Connective tissue gives shape to the udder, but connective tissue are unable to synthesize milk. Only the secretory cell, these ball like shaped alveoli cell, these are the very tiny chambers. The number is very huge, that is millions of alveoli present inside of single quarter, and these are actually secretory tissue, and these are actually producing the milk, and that's why the alveoli or the acyni or the cul-de-sac, it is called as a basic unit of milk synthesis. Finally, the duct system opens in another gland. So this gland is called as a milk cistern. This is called as a milk cistern, or it is also called as udder cistern, or it is either you can call as a milk cistern or udder cistern, or it is also called as a gland cistern. So when finally this galactophore opens into the gland cistern or milk cistern, then entire quantity of milk is stored in this milk cistern. The capacity of milk cistern is about 30 to 40% of milk is stored inside of the milk cistern. Then this gland cistern stores 30 to 40% of milk out of the total milk production, and then this gland cistern again continue with another cistern. So this tube like structure, this is called as a teat cistern. It is called as a teat cistern, or it is also called as a teat canal. Means as when we observe the structure, enlarged structure, so this is the, if suppose this is the gland cistern, it holds 30 to 40% of milk, but here such type of fold is present, such type of, and this is called as a cricoid. This is called as a cricoid fold. So, and here there is a presence of one cistern. This is called as a teat cistern. Actually, the function of cricoid fold, that is, it will separate gland cistern and udder cistern from one another. It is a spring-like structure. This is called as a cricoid fold. Then the whole and teat cistern or teat canal means this is the outer skin of teat. This is the outer skin of teat. So inside of the skin there is a present of one cavity. This is called as a teat canal, or this is called as a teat cistern. It will hold only 5 to 10 ml of milk only. 5 to 10 ml of milk is stored inside of the teat cistern. So when you applying pressure over the teat at the time of milking, or when calf suckles the teat, at that time 5 to 10 ml of milk is discharged from this teat canal. Then here, so this is the skin and this is the teat canal. So this empty space, here is a one canal. This is called as a streak canal. Okay, this is called as a streak canal. So this streak canal is, it is a narrow tube. Okay, it is a narrow tube, and usual dimension of streak canal is about 1/4 inches to half inches only. Means streak canal is a cavity which connects the skin of teat and the teat cistern. So whatever the milk discharged from this teat canal, it passes through the streak canal, and then we can get the milk. Then this streak canal, inside of the streak canal there is a presence of one special material that is called as a keratin. So keratin is a wax like substance. So when you press the teat, when calf suckles the teat, at that time milk is discharged, and when milk is when animal when calf is not suckling or milking process is not carried out, at that time, because of the presence of this keratin, the streak canal is completely sealed. Means the major function of streak canal, that is, it will prevent the leakage of milk. Okay, it will keep the milk inside of the udder and prevent the entry of pathogenic microorganism inside of the udder. That is the function of streak canal. Then this streak canal is surrounded by means of a special type of muscles that is called as a sphincter muscle. Sphincter muscle actually close the streak canal when milking is over. So that is the important function of this special type of muscle, that is called as a sphincter muscle. So this is all about the internal structure of udder. So this structure is very important, and on this portion, on this content, generally long answer type of questions may be asked in your board examination. That is, draw a well labeled diagram of internal structure of udder and describe the structure in detail. So at that time you can draw the figure, and after that you can describe how the udder internal structure is synthesized. You can explain about the alveoli, the duct system, about the gland cistern, teeth cistern, everything. So in the next lecture we will discuss another important contents, that is let down of milk, holding of milk, circulatory system of udder. These three content will be discussed in next lecture. Thank you.